welcome.
I think, yes, sir. Yes, from the little experience I have in undergoing this ML, in fact, I want to use this medium to appreciate the power of this knowledge that you have given to us.
You're welcome.
Because when we are introduced, we just introduced to this ML, machine learning, data science. The belief we have was just going through the basis, but since I've been trying to go through machine learning, understudy it, perform different tasks. I've not come across these beautiful clarifications of this. So I want to use this medium to appreciate you, Prof. And I pray for more knowledge and more success, inshallah. Thank you for the clarification, sir.
Amen. Thank you very much, Mr. Ilola. Thank you very much for that. We are honored and appreciative that people are taking such benefit. And thank you very much for being among those people that God has destined to be able to benefit from such a clarification series. Thank you very much. I think as another person reaching out is Mr. Muhammad Malogun.
Assalamu alaikum, sir.
How are you?
Alhamdulillah. Thank you very much, sir.
You're welcome.
For delivering impactful sections. I just want to ask this question. Based on the explanation you made now, I just have a question. That let's assuming that I have a data set that I'm working on, let's say like in form of research. Now, and I've tried maybe like some harmful algorithm. So maybe like the classical algorithm, and it's giving me good result. So since it's research, do I need to go into like testing all different for maybe like normalization? I have to report on normalization also, or if the normal data is giving me the good result, I don't need to make mention of normalization, or I have to try it also on the data, or also trying like all these deep learning algorithm also. Will I have to also test it on the data set in case of to have a comprehensive report, or once I have something that is working, I can just go ahead and report it?
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Muhammad, for the question and for your exploration. Yeah, regarding it's a very interesting question actually. So, and I know from the background you are coming from. If you are doing research, the first thing is to establish the gap you want to fill. This is very important. And this will determine where you're going to start. So you have to first of all look at the literature, what I've been doing in this area. So if you are the first one that is working in that area, then you have a very big opportunity now to explore as you wish. So, for example, no one has done it before. Just come up to quickly call attention of people to, oh, there's an opportunity in this area. Once you do use the original data set and you are getting something you think is necessary, that is something that you think is appreciating, it's okay by your own standard or by the standard of that area that people will appreciate, you can go ahead and disseminate it. You don't need to do normalization. You don't need to do normalization. For instance, there was a case in the past of someone who did the modeling on membrane technology, and they couldn't get the research through. Then we jointly now use machine learning to model the data set. And I think at the beginning, we just achieved 70, maybe 75. But to me, I was going to still normalize the data, try to do feature selection, but when the people in that area got to know about the percentage, they said, no, prof, we don't need any other thing. This is too much. That all the statistical methods that have been used before, they were getting 24%, 40% maximum. Now this is 70%. They said, this is more than enough. I said, okay, I still want to do something here. And they said, no, this is more than enough. And the paper went through immediately. Within a couple of weeks, it was out in a very, very top journal. The editor appreciated it, the reviewers, and also the readers. So what I'm saying in essence is, at that point in time, the gap to be filled is someone need to do something that will beat what they have been experiencing using statistical method, which was in the range of 30, 40 maximum. And bringing 75 at that point in time was like super excellent. However, if it is a place that someone has been working on, or someone decided to pick that same paper now to improve upon it, its own gap now is there is still need to improve. We want to go to as high as 100. This could be the gap. Work has been done in this area. However, the maximum gotten so far was just 75. In that case, you have to then, first of all, run the experiment they actually reported in the paper. And then you try to see, okay, how can I improve upon it? So at that point, you have to start thinking of what can I do to improve upon it? Can I use another algorithm? No, let me try this same algorithm. Let's normalize it. They did not use normalization. When you read the paper, you notice that that is a gap in their work. They have not been able to normalize the data. Can I normalize the data? Maybe you normalize the data, the result went back to 60%. You can see that means normalization does not work for that data. And sometimes it goes up. That is excellent. It's working for you. Then sometimes you might have to also use another algorithm. What of feature selection? So you use all these additional processes or procedures subject to the need. This is, I think, how to summarily answer your question. You use them subject to the need for them. So we don't just need them because we want the report to be comprehensive. No. So we don't do that because we're going to use so many algorithms. There's no place to stop. So meanwhile, when you are doing research, we call something fence in, fence out. As you are doing research, a lot of ideas will be coming to your head. You can do this. Oh, why don't you use deep learning? Oh, why don't you use hybrid? Why don't you use ensemble? Keep documenting those ideas. You don't have to bring everything to your research now. Otherwise, you will not finish that research. And research must have smart objective. And the last T there is that smart is time bound. You have to specify time for it. So you don't want to write the research that will be done open-endedly. So that once we're able to achieve what is above what we presently have in literature, then you go ahead, conclude your work, report it, disseminate it in the appropriate fora. And then you may also come back later and then try to investigate further. Okay, what we issue as another algorithm. Sometimes we want to investigate the effect of feature selection on what we have just done. That is another research entirely. I don't need to move everything together, especially if you are one of the first timer in this area. You are the first one to investigate this area. You have a lot of opportunity within your power. So investigating the effect of feature selection on the performance of this and this. That is a topic on its own. Then you start, because feature selection has so many methods. You may want to investigate several feature selection methods, and then you can recommend for people in that area that for this kind of data, this can be the kind of feature selection method you recommend. You see? And you may also want to go the way of trying to compare algorithms. You have used this algorithm. Can you use another type of algorithm? Maybe you started with k-nearest neighbor, and then use decision tree, which has that capability of being easier to follow by people who are not professional in this area. They can easily see what you are doing, they can understand easily. Or you want to use a vector machine, or you want to mix them together using ensemble or hybrid just to get better results. So in essence, the gap that you've identified at the beginning of your research will guide you to knowing what and what you have to do and where to stop. And of course, it's always good to also seek for guidance from experienced people around you that may also provide guidance that, oh, no, this is enough. No, this is not enough. However, once you are getting very good results with your original data sets, every other thing become optional. Except if you have a target you have to beat because someone already beat that target in the past, then you have to start deploying several tactics to be able to see that you are able to achieve your aim and objective of achieving the targeted gap to be filled. I hope that clarified, Mr. Balogun.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Barakallah feek.
I mean,
Salam, Mr.
Lamin.
Hamzat.
Yes, sir. Good morning, Prof.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
I'm fine.
Okay.
Thank you for your effort.
Yeah, we thank God.
It's been a while. It's been a long journey, and your impact on us has actually shown in our effort. In effort we are putting through to put one or two works together, especially when machine learning modeling is concerned. So it's been very tough, especially when it comes to we from economists. We always believe that we have all the apparatus to develop any model of ours. So, but with the coming of machine learning modeling, our modeling are becoming a little bit, has gotten a paradigm shift a little bit, has been giving us a good result as expected. So really appreciate you. We never knew it would be possible to the stage we are, me and my friends and my new colleagues that we've added to the group. So it's a journey that it will continue, a collaboration that will bring something very, very unique. And I thank God that you are now with us very close. So the little clarification I want to concerning the normalization you have just discussed, I think normalization goes with a regression analysis. And when someone is modeling classification modeling, I don't think normalization is necessary. So normalization goes with regression analysis. And again, there's a question I need to ask. Recently, we carried out the work where machine learning model, the regression machine learning model, that when we are like tuning k nearest neighbor, we always discover that when k is 1, we have gotten 100%. So I don't know, I need a clarification on that. Why is it like that? When k is 1, we have been having 100%. Please, we need a clarification. But when we tune our k to be like 3 or 5, we'll be having something less than that, which we had been comfortable with to report, because having 100% when k is 1 on 2 or 3 occasions like that has been confusing. So that's why I will need clarification on this, so that we can be sure what went wrong, sir.
Thank you very much, Dr. Salam Hamzat. So thank you very much for the comment. And I know you have been one of the first foremost members of this weekly activity since you joined 2 years ago. Thank you very much for the consistency, and all other members and the new members. And we hope that a blog will be up soon, so whereby hopefully we'll be able to engage ourselves, especially those that have taken benefit, so that will be a kind of a motivation for those who are just joining, because some people are just joining now. They don't even know, can we benefit from this? How far can we go? So I believe those people who have really taken benefit right from the onset in such blog will be able to interact and hopefully encourage ourselves. Thank you very much. Let me start by, first of all, making a correction to an assumption you made, and that is that normalization is only applicable to regression modeling. Let me say, not really. You can have normalization for both regression and classification. It's only that in the classification, we only can normalize the input. There's nothing to normalize in the output because it is not numbers. It is class A or class B or class C. So we cannot normalize the output in case of classification, but we can normalize the input, the features. You can see when I was talking of the normalization, I spoke more about feature. You see, when those features are having different, either because the values are so big or whatever, we normalize them. However, for regression, in addition to normalizing the features, we can also normalize the targets, the value to be predicted. I think that was why you thought that it's only for regression. So for classification, we can normalize the inputs, those features. Whereas for regression, we can normalize both features and also the target value. However, when you do normalization, I'm always of the school of thought that even in regression, we should try to avoid normalizing the target. Because when you normalize the target, then it becomes compulsory for you to denormalize it back to the original value before you do the analysis of the result. Otherwise, the result may be confusing. For example, you want to predict the gain of a company over a particular number of years, or you want to predict the actual price of a particular commodity or of a kind of stock market. Prices are usually in thousands, but now you've normalized that column, the target. So after the prediction, then you have to use that formula you used to normalize it to denormalize, to return the prediction back to the original value, and then calculate the root mean square error. Otherwise, you'll be getting very small number, so the root mean square error will be very low. You then, in real fact, the value is not supposed to be low. Because by the time you denormalize it, then you can see the actual value you have predicted. This is why when I deal with regression problem, I try to avoid normalizing the target. I normalize the inputs. Because the inputs, actually, they are the ones that are more important, that will guide the algorithm to be able to know what to estimate. So, though in some cases you may have very complicated problem that you just need to normalize the output. That is fine. But as a rule of thumb, at the beginning, I try not to normalize the output. I only normalize the input, and it worked fine for me. We do achieve better results. However, if you have to normalize the output, don't forget, you have to return it back to through the denormalization. And it's just an opposite of what you use to normalize it. It's like a change of formula. Then you can then get back the actual value of the predicted result. Of course, these are subject to what we have explained today. After you have run the original data, let the data speak before we spend so much time on normalization that may work and may not work. I hope I have answered your question, Mr. Salami Amzad. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm very, very clarified, sir. I really appreciate it. But concerning the K value,
okay, thank you very much. Yeah. Thank you very much for reminding me. Sorry. Yeah, regarding the last question, K value, if you have followed let the data speak, you are good to go. There's no value of K that is fixed for a problem. The only thing is when you use K is equal to 1, you run the experiment, you note down the result. K is equal to 3, if it is if it is regression, just use any value of K. If it is regression, you can always use any value of K, but if it is classification, because of voting, you have to use K value that will allow you to vote. If it is binary classes, then you use 1, 3, 5, 7, and the likes. So when you use K is equal to 1, you get the result. K is equal to 2, it goes down. K is equal to 3, it goes down. K is equal to 5, it kept going down. That is excellent. You pick K is equal to 1 as the answer. That is the hyperparameter. There's nothing you can do. That is what it has achieved for you. You may have another data set. 1 also is good for you. That is fine. You'll be surprised another time. I think I've worked on it. Maybe one time we got K is equal to 1 as the best value. Mostly we got 3 sometimes. In literature, people say between 7 and 13 are the best value. I always believe in let the data speak. It's not always going to fall that position. Between 7 and 13, we've gotten 5, we've gotten 1 as the best value. Once you search for it, whatever you get is the correct one. So don't be disturbed. Oh, is 1 going to be reasonable? It is reasonable. When you look at the way K nearest neighbor is working, it is saying, show me your friend, I'll tell you the kind of person you are. The closest person to you is going to be the one that will determine the kind of situation you are. That is the nature of that data set. We can't do anything about it. So you have to, but you cannot just run one and stop. Run others and see what you are getting. Then you know that, okay, this is giving me better result. And you are correct. Even if you have done 2, 3, 4, 5 research and everything is KKK, maybe the data is from the same source or they are a little bit similar, but it is correct. You can just now compare your work with another algorithm and see the way it goes. But I can assure you, if you get another data some days, 1 may not give you the best result. I hope that clarifies. So you are correct. What you have done is correct. And there's no need to be worried.
So thank you, Prof. I really appreciate your clarification.
You're welcome.
God continue to strengthen you for us.
I mean, thank you. I mean, you too. So I believe that is a very good one. So there's no more question. Thank you very much once again for.
I think there's another question from one Mr. Salman or about something like that.
Sorry, somebody dropped his hand. Mr. Salman.
Okay. Okay, good morning, sir. Mr. Salman, sir. Good morning, Prof.
Yeah, good morning. How are you?
Yeah, fine, sir. Okay, just want to confirm to show that I understand the concept of this normalization. I have a scenario where they maybe I have data is in maybe it's in 0, it's in decimal number. Let's say it's in decimal number. But what I need is integer. I don't need 0. I don't need any decimal point like 1.2. I don't need that. What I need is a whole integer. So by converting all the data from that decimal number to integer, you understand? Then when to be able to continue with what I want to do. So I think that's part of the concept of normalization. It's to normalize to what I want to achieve. Then by converting it back, when I'm done, maybe to the next layer, I need to convert it back to decimal number. Is that so? I just want to confirm that that's part of the concept of normalization.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, well, it depends on what you want to use your data for. You see, okay. Yeah, normalization has been used for several things in different fields. However, in this case, if you normalize your inputs, you don't need to denormalize them because we don't need them for anything. You get the point. However,
yes, sir.
If your target is in decimal numbers, then you decide to convert it to normalize it, to make it to be between, I want it to be between 1 and 2. You can do that. Or between this and this. Whatever conversion you are using. So even though it's still going to be, if there are so many different types of normalization,
yes.
If the final value that is predicted is what you want to use, that is fine for you. That is okay. However, you note that when you predict, you need to calculate the performance measure. For regression, you have to be talking of root mean square error, correlation coefficient, and others. However, if you have converted it using normalization, so the value you are calculating is not original data, because your model is going to go back to real life where your data is coming from. Are you with me now? So that is
Yes,
why
sir. Yes.
make sure that when you are going to get the real data, you have to first of all normalize it before you use it for prediction, because that is what is working for you. Then you have to make sure that the result is calculated. Even though later you can then go back to the original data, since you don't want it to be in decimal, and use it if it is allowed in your own area of interest. However, to do the performance measure, in order not to get a confusing performance measure, it's always good to do the denormalization. But if what you are looking for is actually in the final value it has produced, then that is fine. You may now have to do the reverse process. I hope
Yes.
that clarifies, Mr. Salman.
Yes. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Barakallahu. So, Mr. Alanika Yusuf, so we have, I think, one more. I think we have to for time.
Okay, thank you so much for the session, sir. So what I just thought I could ask about is, we have been using Wika. You have taught us how to use Wika for machine learning modeling.
Yeah.
So if you want to go practical now, are there, interfaces in Wika that one can use for the normalization, or one would have to have normalized the data set before one inputs into Wika and then run the machine learning modeling? And then if it happens to be that there is no interface in Wika, for instance, so what would be the best option for you to enlighten us on how we can go about the normalization before we now, run in Wika? Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much. So, yeah, because of our time, we will not be able to start Wika now, maybe hopefully another day we'll have the opportunity to display that. However, Wika has normalization, and at the same time, you can also do normalization even in Excel. It's a simple formula as I've displayed today. You can see here, simple formula. Just put this formula in Excel in front of your data and you generate your new value, each of them. You see, you find you have the number, the minimum of that column, maximum of that column, minus minimum of that column. In bracket, time that you multiply by the new maximum you have specified minus the new minimum plus the new minimum. Just put this formula in the Excel file, it does it for you. That's also the same thing. Usually, some of my data, sometimes I just use Excel to do my normalization and I proceed without any issue. And sometimes when I used to use MATLAB, I write a small code that does that for me. You can do in any area, anywhere actually. Either in Excel file, there's also normalization in Wika. So hopefully we'll have the opportunity to demonstrate for us in the future. I hope that clarifies. You can do from any platform that is okay for you. If you know coding, Python can do it, MATLAB can do it, R can do it, but the simplest one is Excel can do it. Just put the formula there, you get the new value, and those new value become what you are going to input into your system. But under the pre-processing options, you also have normalization, data imbalance. You also have all these in the Wika environment. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
You're welcome.